This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is.
Now, I've been in your shoes before, literally staring at my phone thinking that flat earthers were stupid. This video, I'm hoping I can help you out to understand why flat earth isn't as stupid as you thought. And for starts, it doesn't look anything like this, or this. We're not on a floating disc in space. No one's gonna be falling off the edge of the earth anytime soon, so stop asking for pictures of it. Things get really weird when you just look into the details of all of this space and rocketry. The SR-71 at its top speed starts to tear apart, but I'm supposed to believe this, which is not aerodynamic at all, can go 22,615 miles an hour? If flat earth is so stupid, then why are all of the most powerful organizations in the world using it as their logo? You guys may know who this guy is, Wernher von Braun. He's literally responsible for the rocketry that got us to the moon that we supposedly can't replicate and destroyed. When he passed, he left us this nugget on his headstone. Psalms 19:1, which reads, "The heavens declare the glory of God, and the firmament showeth his handiwork." Why would he put a Bible verse about the firmament on his headstone if he sent man to the moon 239,000 miles away? You guys probably remember the Challenger STS-51 crew. All of these guys unfortunately passed away on a rocket that crashed and blew up. And simultaneously, 6 out of the 7 are found alive today and kicking, and all of them are identical twins, supposedly. I'm sure you were taught in school that, the mantle, the crust, how thick the earth is, the core, everything like that, the molten lava that's swishing around the core that supposedly causes the poles to shift constantly from the north to the south pole, both of them shifting constantly, so nobody can ever actually go to the exact. It's so stupid. But, yeah, it's bad. We've only dug 8 miles down, and then we hit an impenetrable barrier. Kind of like bedrock in Minecraft. Sure, you hear this one all the time. It's one of the best arguments for flat earth against the globe. But, gravity? I always thought it was a fact. It's not. Gravity is not a fact. Regarding the natural law of attraction, this material should be approached with an open mind, studied carefully, and critically considered. The universal theory of gravity is often taught in schools as a fact, when in fact it is not even a good theory. Uh-oh. Here's another big one, why everyone thinks this is all fake. Here is a Photoshop hand tool on a photo of Earth from Russia, apparently. In the $1,000 Illuminati card game, there is a card of flat earthers. People laugh, but the flat earthers know something. Why is Elon Musk tweeting stuff like this? But what do you think? Flat or round? Me and you can agree that water always finds its level, right? Like if we had a lake, if one side of the lake was lower than the other, that would create a river. The river would flow and it would find its level into another lake or puddle somewhere else. We can both agree on that, right? The only point I'm trying to get at is that water always is level, no matter what you put under it. It's just simple physics, right? So me and you both obviously have to agree on that, right? Water always needs a container. It always finds its level. These things are just obvious. Where's the container? And how can water be level on this? Are you sure that you're on a ball? Water doesn't lie. People do. And I've been getting this question a lot, so here it is. Pause. If you want to know why they would lie about the shape of the earth, just pause and stare at this picture. You may be asking, well, that doesn't work on your model either if we're on a floating disc and all the water's falling off the edges. I obviously assume you haven't looked into this at all, so no, it's not flowing off the edges. We're not on a disc floating in space. Antarctica is not a continent, it's an ice wall. That is the container. It contains all of the water. Because water always needs a container, and it always finds its level, so this is just one of those pictures that you should just pause and read and then ponder. Think about it. Periscopes can see pretty far, dude. They don't have a very high observer height. Does that suggest that maybe the oceans are all level? whether it's periscopes or rail guns. None of this stuff is suggesting that there's any curvature of the Earth. I just want to point out one of those things where they're kind of like laughing at us, putting it in our face, but the Bible says this, and they're telling us that we're spinning around the sun at 66,600 miles an hour. Oh, and if you didn't see on the railgun picture, 100 miles, the amount of curvature that's over 100 miles, 6,666 feet. Oh yeah, it's bad. I know, it's bad. It was just a big old curveball in the end, wasn't it? Stars, not fireballs. Crepuscular rays prove the sun is at 93 million miles away. The guy that invented the theory of gravity, that's still a theory, was a Freemason. Water needs a container. This is the most obvious one that we're not on a ball. Water needs a container, always, observably, needs a container. Like, you want to learn that NASA's lying really fast, just look up bubbles in space. But, yeah. If you think the government is going to tell you the truth, well, about anything, obviously you've never read the 2012 modernization of Smith-Mundt Act. Basically, the wonderful things that it did was allow domestic propaganda to be portrayed to the American people that they would have used on other countries, like, in war. And the weirdest thing happened after this act. Like, tons of mass shootings started happening, like Sandy Hook. Like, it seriously blows my mind. You guys don't think this is weird at all. Like, they're not letting you go past the 60th south latitude. Nobody can independently explore out there. They lost all the moon footage. Literally a flat earth map in JFK's Situation Room. Yeah, you remember those original NASA photos of Mars? Everyone found where they took them on Earth. Yeah, these pyramids, the pyramids of Giza, realign under the Orion Belt every year, once a year, and I'm supposed to believe we're traveling 4.9 billion miles a year. Like, get out of here. You don't actually think that the seasons make any sense on the heliocentric model, do you? So, get this. This is what they're telling us is happening. We're supposedly tilted at 23.4 degrees, which is 66.6 degrees on a 90-degree axis, by the way, spinning around the sun at 66,616 miles an hour. And as the Earth spins around the sun, while it's spinning, the light hits at different angles. So it's all still hitting, the sun's light is still hitting it on all sides apparently, but it's hitting at different angles, which causes seasons. Obviously, that's not the truth. So I'm going to show you what the truth is in just a second. But also, if the sun's rays are coming in parallel, how are we getting crepuscular rays? It's like the sun isn't 93 million miles away. Like, maybe it's local within the firmament. Like, seriously, people, like, just look at it. Just look at this. This is crazy. This is really crazy. But what's actually happening is the sun is local and it goes around the Earth in a circular motion. It gets farther and closer away from the North Pole on its most inner rotation around the North Pole. That's when we have summer here in America. This should help with, visualization. The most inner rotation around the Earth, that's when we have summer up here in the northern hemisphere. The equator is here, going around the flat Earth. It's a circle going around. And then this is the southern hemisphere out here. When the sun is on its most outer rotation, that's when these guys have summer. Opposite of us. Makes no sense? Makes perfect sense. If you start questioning the answers that we've been given about this ball and the shape of the Earth and our reality and the phenomena that happens around us, you're gonna find out that none of it's a straight answer and none of it seems logical. But let me know in the comments, do you think we're on a ball? All of the authority figures that are painting this reality for us, like Elon and NASA, told you that they sent a car out into space to orbit the Earth. When we got them in their lie. This was simply a car on a platform with TV screens behind it being filmed that were projecting the shape of the Earth. And a fake one of that. So if NASA, their astronauts, and all their digital artists are being honest, then why are they doing poses like this? The meaning behind this pose: ignore bad behavior by pretending not to see it. And I'm just expected to believe that these people have the taxpayers' interest in mind? Absolutely not. The devil, it's in the details, constantly surrounding everything that this corporation does. These tapes were accidentally erased. It's like they're only sending Freemasons to the moon. What's the motive? Why would they want to mislead all of mankind into an imaginary thought process that space is real? How's $19 billion a year sound? You tell me. Do you think they're being honest? You ready to address the elephant in the room? It's really just this simple. Like, it's 2022, guys. Like, you'd think we'd have like a 24-hour broadcast of us spinning through space around the sun and everything, you know? It's really just this simple, guys. If we're going 4.9 billion miles a year at 500,000 miles an hour chasing the sun, how does Polaris stay completely stationary? It's really just this simple. If we're sending probes to Jupiter over 350 million miles, why can't we get a picture of Earth on the way out? There's no real pictures of the Earth. It's really just this simple. If you just think about it, what you've been told makes no sense. The Earth's flat. So what happens when you get to the end of Earth? You fall off? For all we know, there is no end to Earth. Unfortunately, everything past the 60th south latitude is being gatekept through the Antarctic Treaty that's signed by most of the nations on Earth. But no, there's no edge. We're not on a disc in space. Like, seriously, guys, this is disinformation. Nobody's gonna be falling off the edge of the Earth anytime soon. Antarctica is an ice wall. It encompasses us, okay? 360 degrees. It's not a continent on the bottom side of an oblate spheroid. And for everyone that doesn't believe me, here's the Antarctic Treaty. The provisions of the present treaty shall apply to the area south of the 60th south latitude, including all ice shelves, but nothing in the present treaty shall prejudice or in any way affect the rights or exercises of rights of any state under international law with regard to the high seas within that area, meaning you've got to get really special permission. Or you can pay like $10,000. And for all the people that are gonna say, there is guided tours, you can go to Antarctica. I'm not paying $13,790 to go on a guided tour. Look at this. Yeah, look at that. Woohoo, how fun is that? Let's go to a little edge of Antarctica and then turn right around and come home, huh? No, I don't want to be guided. I want to go look around. Guys just don't seem to understand the no independent exploration idea. We don't want to be guided. And here's the 60th south latitude. If you go past that point, they'll turn you around with battleships and jets and stuff. But again, guys, the shape of the Earth doesn't look anything like this. We're not on a disc in space. Seriously. It might look even maybe something more like this. Yeah. And I know what you want to comment next. I know what you want to say. What about the planets? What about the planets? If they're obviously so spherical, then... No, they're not. Just luminaries. Explain the horizon. How does that work on a flat Earth? Well, to explain the horizon, why don't I just explain why the luminaries in the sky, like the sun and the moon, why do they set? They're not setting over a physical curvature of the Earth. Perspective is everything. These lights aren't going down. They're not getting shorter. It's just due to perspective. This is what happens when objects go away. So as the moon gets farther away, it's probably going to look very similar, and then eventually it'll get to a point where it vanishes, called a vanishing point. And I'm sure you're curious, why can't I see Mount Everest from everywhere in the world? Like, sure you're thinking that right now, which stop thinking that. Because there's a vanishing point, and also the atmosphere is opaque, so you can't see forever, because light just doesn't travel forever. If you were just on my live and you're wondering, why did it end so abruptly? It's because I'm being censored again. And it's suspended, so make sure to follow my second account right here. If I decide to go live tomorrow, I'm gonna go live there. But also, if the Earth's not flat, then why does the Georgia Guidestones have a hole in it that's set on Polaris 24/7 every single day and night? This hole sat on Polaris, like, until they knocked it down. Like, seriously, think about it. We're on a ball that's wobbling, processing, spinning, orbiting, and chasing the sun. And this little hole is perfectly... Are you sure that all of the oceans and lakes are conforming to the convexity of the Earth? Just think about it, like, periscopes can see like 15.5 miles to like 16 miles. Their observer height, not super high. You'd think they'd only be able to see like 3. Railguns can hit their targets up to 100 miles, and I've heard the same from Navy accounts where they can literally hit other boats with lasers like 100 miles away. That's like 6,666 feet of missing curvature. Everyone loves to quote Eratosthenes, but Eratosthenes didn't prove anything. Works on both models, guys. Seriously. There's some pretty obvious signs out in reality that tell us that we're not on a spinning ball that wobbles and is tilted on an axis going 500,000 miles an hour. Now, if you're being honest with me, you'll admit gravity makes no sense. Sometimes gravity causes planets and moons to orbit a gas ball in space while there's no oxygen in space, not constantly pulling things towards center mass, keeping things at perfect distances, doing elliptical orbits. And then other times, gravity is constantly pulling millions or trillions of gallons of water to center mass, causing the Earth to look like this. No container, no level water, all of this is from gravity. All I'm trying to get at is that gravity makes no sense, and it's out there. It's still a theory, and the longer something's a theory, the more irrelevant it becomes. Buoyancy and density, guys. It's not that hard. So if the Earth isn't flat, then how is the current world record distance for a photograph 273.4 miles? That's 9.4 miles of missing curvature between these 2 points. The peak of the mountains that we're looking at here is 15,700 feet, and if there's about 5,000 feet in a mile, it just doesn't make any sense. Like, the mountain would only be 3 miles tall and there's 9 miles of curve. But unfortunately for all of the heliosexuals out there, this is happening all over the world. This one you can see from 190 miles away, guys. There's no curvature to the Earth. This skyline, Chicago skyline from 60 miles away, it's not a mirage, guys. It's just reality. No distortion means no curvature, guys. Well, I got the news. NASA is preparing to return to the moon with a new mission set for August launch. Back to the moon, we never went, as far as I'm concerned. Like, just think about it, okay? About 66 years between these two, and the last time we went to the moon was 1972. 50 years ago. Guys planning on bringing any petrified wood back from this moon landing, guys? Just let me know. Let us know so we can test it when you guys get back. We're gonna really want to test it again and make sure to bring some. Now, you guys better have some meticulous CGI for this next landing on the moon, because we're gonna be obviously watching us flat earthers. But if the moon's a rock, why are we seeing stars through it? And what's up with all these flags? If you actually wanted to know the shape of the Earth, all you'd have to do is read this book right here. But for all you globers that I'm sure you're not gonna, I'm gonna go over a couple pages in it. The first flight is to Australia for the Gold Cup. from Argentina and Brazil. 2 teams from Argentina and Brazil flew to Australia for the Gold Cup in celebration of the 200th anniversary of Captain Arthur Phillip. Now, this should have just been a routine flight over the Pacific Ocean to go over to Australia, but I was told that the flight had gone from Rio to Los Angeles. Wow, Los Angeles! And it did because, remember the title of the book, Emergency Flight Path Landings. So you want to know what that would look like, huh? Yeah. Thousands of miles, but on a flat Earth, flying right over it. Second one in the book. China Airlines Flight 008. A Taiwanese woman lied about her pregnancy and how far along she was. She was 36 weeks. You're not allowed to fly after 32. She told them that she was 30. They had to emergency land because she started giving birth literally mid-flight. So just another routine flight, right? Taiwan to Los Angeles, and they land in Alaska. And if you look at the timestamps here, just read this paragraph, and you can't refute it. There's no way they could get to Alaska. So here's the flight. It's like, doesn't make any sense. Like thousands of miles up here to Alaska. It's like they were flying right over it. But to be honest with you, I can just do this all day. Auckland to Lima, Peru. Again, landing in Los Angeles. Like, seriously, guys, look at this. Look at this. Here's another one. They land in Moscow, all the way up here. Why didn't they land down here? It's because we're on a flat Earth. Look at this one. Look at this one. Look at this one. They're all the way up to London. Wow, really? In flat Earth. Flat Earth model. Makes sense. From Argentina to India. Yeah, from Argentina to India. And they land in Amsterdam. Completely skip Africa. Yeah, and then you look at it on a flat Earth, it just makes sense, as always. But if you're wondering, like, why would they do this to us? Why would they lie to us, saying that we're on a ball? Just need to compare these real quick. Just look over these real quick. Love these points. No evolution. No Big Bang. It just gets rid of all the bullshit when you're on our model. Oh, and created by God. We came from monkeys. Yeah, that's the whole point. They want you to feel insignificant, like you're a speck of dust in an infinite expanding space. The Earth's flat.
But strangely enough, there's left in the world today an area as big as the United States that's never been seen by a human being.
This is what you have to believe. If you think that we're on this ball orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles per hour, chasing it at 500,000 miles per hour, this isn't the truth. If we're doing that and all of the other stars and planets are too, how do they realign every year, every 365 days? What you're seeing here isn't a mirage, and what you're seeing here isn't real. But if you really want to know if the Earth's flat, the easiest way to tell is flight paths and emergency flight path landings. Stare at these pictures too long, you'll be a flat earther pretty quick. But if you still want to deny that the Earth is flat, then have a good time on your spinning ball. By the end of this video, it's gonna be really obvious that we've been lied to about a lot of things. Like, how is all of the world seeing the sun at the same time if we're on this? How? Which way would you have to turn this ball for? I don't think that that's possible. You have heard of the Michelson-Morley experiment, right? Yeah, the experiment that proved we're not elliptically orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. The data of Michelson-Morley were almost unbelievable. There was only one other possible conclusion to draw, that the Earth was at rest. Thanks, Bernard. But let's find out, what was the Michelson-Morley experiment and how did it disprove that the Earth was spinning around the sun?
Michelson and Morley devised an apparatus that would detect minute differences in speed between two beams of light. Light from one source is split into two directions through a half-silvered mirror. These beams are bounced between other mirrors and then recombined back into a single beam. When two light beams combine, if their waves are completely synchronized, the peaks combine to make an even more intense peak. If they are one half wavelength off, their peaks combine and cancel out the intensity. Slight differences in speed between two light waves will therefore produce a pattern based on the amount of interference between the two beams. This is known as an interference pattern. Examining the interference pattern from the two light beams sent out in different directions would clearly show if the speed of each light beam were different in different directions. But Michelson and Morley never detected such a difference.
Even with a simple Google search, you can see that this did prove that the Earth, in fact, is stationary. Michelson reasoned that if the speed of light were constant with respect to the proposed ether through which the Earth was moving, that the motion could be detected by comparing the speed of light in the direction of the Earth's motion and the speed of light at the right angles to the Earth's motion. No difference was found. But just because I know this is a tough topic and I really need to drive this one home, here's another clip explaining how this proved that we definitely aren't on a ball chasing or spinning around the sun.
The first light beam was pointed westward because it was the presumed direction of the Earth's movement around the sun. The second light beam was pointed northward and thus away from the direction of the presumed moving Earth. The first light beam should have been affected by Earth's movement through space if the Earth is moving around the sun at an accepted speed of 66,000 miles per hour. If so, the first beam would have traveled slower than the second beam of light. But that didn't happen. Both light beams traveled at nearly the same speed. According to Michelson, the first beam traveled only about 1/6 of the speed needed if the Earth was moving around the sun.
Tons of other ways, though, to tell that we're not on a spinning ball moving at all and that the Earth's stationary. You could stare at this picture for a while, or you can stare at this one for a while. Closest star is supposedly 25 trillion miles away, by the way, but have fun on your spinning ball. Did you know that you could actually be prosecuted for teaching that the Earth was round back in the day? Check out this article. It says Earth is round. It is painful to read that Sir John Gorse, the head of the British Educational Department, is in serious trouble and has been threatened by Mr. Ebenezer Breach and other taxpayers of the city of Portsmouth in the Kingdom of England with prosecution under the Impostors Act. It seems that the schools of Portsmouth have been teaching the damnable and heretical doctrine that the Earth is a sphere. Keep reading if you want to. My favorite part's right here. Ebenezer and his friends know, of course, that the Earth is as flat as a pancake. You may ask me, Caleb, what was the last thing that solidified that the Earth was flat in your mind? Flight paths. Go ahead, take as long as you need. Pause this and just, yeah. Is the moon a dusty rock reflecting the sun's light, or is it its own luminary? If you ask me, I'm definitely gonna say it's giving off its own light, dude. So if you were to go out tonight, pitch black, and the moon's out, and you walk in its light, it's colder than if you were to be in the shade at night. Test it for yourself, but you can also test it by taking a magnifying glass, magnifying the light into a center point, and testing the temperature of the light. It will be colder than the surrounding areas that aren't lit up by the magnifying glass. Now, if you were to ask me, do I think it's a plasma? Do I think it's a hologram? I have no idea what's going on with the luminaries in the sky, but they're awesome. But here's a video just to give you a little bit of evidence so you can come to your own conclusion, maybe.
Night looking for objects, I pan my camera down and the wave starts, this hologram wave. I don't notice it. And then it catches up to the camera and I do notice it. I glance at the moon, but when you're staring at things, you don't know whether it's your eyes or what. And then I notice a second wave coming. And at this point, I'm thinking it's my camera. I look up at the moon again and, I just don't know what to think. Save the clip out, I don't delete it. I almost did. And I look at it for quite some time, weeks maybe. Looking at it over and over, and I'm realizing that, this is not the way a digital camera malfunctions. This is an organic line, no pixelation, no shredding of the signal. And it finally dawns on me that the pan of the camera proves it. When I pan down, and I usually don't shoot this way, I usually stay centered, almost always stay centered, trying to increase my odds of catching something unusual. But when I pan down, the wave starts, and I pan in front of the wave, which catches up to the camera. And that is the proof in the pudding. The you'll notice a couple things. The wave looks like it bulges in the center as if it's going down. If you stop the frame and...
Pretty compelling, right? I'd look more into it. Me, I don't say what it is. I have no idea what's going on here. I only found the flat earth like 10 months ago. Why do you people think I have to make up my mind on anything? There's people on this app that have been studying it for years. Literally, I'm new to this, but it's obvious to me, so I speak about it. Wait, you're not really telling me that you think that all of the wandering stars in the sky, being the planets, are dusty rocks reflecting light millions of miles through an infinite space vacuum, right? Helicopters on Mars, rovers on Mars. Highly doubt it. I'm gonna show Mars, and I'm gonna show a couple other wandering stars and what they actually look like. Not physical planets, but just luminaries. Sure, we've got rovers and little drones on Mars. Doesn't look very physical to me. These stars in the sky, they're not gas balls shooting light in every single direction. Who knows what these lights are? They seem to be fixed in the firmament, doing circles around Polaris. Again, other than the wandering stars, the planets, that aren't planets as you can see. Luminaries, not planets. Yes. All of this is a lie. All of it. All of these numbers, all of this math, it's all created to explain something that doesn't exist. We're not spinning around the sun on an ellipsoid, going 66,600 miles per hour in an elliptical orbit. No meteors are gonna take us out anytime soon. None of these actronauts are going to space. None of these theories of the heliocentric model make any sense. This ball? This proves itself. It's not hard to see. The evidence keeps piling up that these people aren't telling us the truth. Nobody's gonna be sailing off the edge of the earth anytime soon. Nobody's gonna be surfing off the edge anytime soon. Antarctica's not a continent. How many times do I have to say this? Antarctica is an ice wall. It surrounds us, encompasses us, 360 degrees, contains all of the water, because water always needs a container. It always finds its level, so it's always level. Which, said before, makes no sense. On this ball, no container, no level water. Constantly curving. Defies physics. Defies reality. Saying there's curvature is literally going against observable, objective reality. Nobody's seen curvature, dude. Still want to believe this bullshit? Be my guest. You know how much the people of this world hate the truth and love theories. The Big Bang Theory. The dinosaur hoax. What? You think you're going into museums and seeing real dinosaur bones? Absolutely not, dude. Those are just castings of the real bones that are in the back that nobody's allowed to go see, but people that are heavily invested in paleontology. They're literally saying that the closest relative to dinosaurs are chickens. No, you thought I was joking? No, they're trying to convince the world that birds are the closest relative to dinosaurs. That's right. T-Rex directly related to this chicken. But I thought evolution didn't work like that. Why would a dinosaur de-evolve into a... These people can't make up their minds with anything. First they told us we were getting our car juice from fossil fuels, from dinosaur graves. That's right. Apparently dinosaurs were all walking to the same spots and dying in graves and creating oil. And they couldn't decide if these guys were scaly, had feathers. They couldn't decide on anything. Not even now. Let me guess, this one's name is Platypusaurus or something? Come on, people. It's time to live in reality. Electric cars aren't new, people. We were doing this stuff after World War II in Germany. Electric cars costing less than $1,600? Take me back. But seriously, people, this lie is just as stupid as this lie. Water isn't curving around an ellipsoid, or an oblate spheroid, or a pear, Neil. Nobody's allowed to go independently explore Antarctica. The flat Earth is not a new concept to this realm. The heliocentric model is. The ice caps aren't melting. There is no spin, there is no curvature, and gravity is not a fact. Gravity's a theory, and it's been a theory for a pretty long time. The longer something stays a theory, the less relevant it is. There's a reason Obama gave his speeches and made Flat Earth a mockery, and made it literally a derogatory thing you can call somebody. They do not want you researching it. But if you want to stay on your spinning ball, so be it. What's my easiest proof of flat Earth? Okay, I'll show you. Polaris. Polaris sitting in the sky in the exact same spot while all of the other stars go around it in a circular motion makes no sense on a ball that's on a 66.6 degree axis, on a 90 degree axis, elliptically orbiting the sun at 66,616 miles per hour, while chasing the sun at over 500,000 miles per hour and spinning 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. That makes absolutely, the whole picture should make no sense. Here's another one in another area. This should make no sense. On that ball. Remember, we're supposedly on a ball. Doing all these motions. Why does Polaris sit there? Why? The Egyptians mapped it too. It's been sitting there for thousands of years. And I know a lot of people are already aware, but the Georgia Guidestones, that hole sits on Polaris constantly, every single day and night. And it also says keep the population under 500 million. Bunch of weirdos that erected those rocks, but why'd they stick a hole in it that sticks on Polaris and all this thing all the time? Like, it's like they were messing with our heads or something. Like, how does it do that on a ball that's spinning and orbiting? Maybe it's flat and stationary. I'm serious. This should be just flat out obvious. I can go out and take my DSLR, turn on a time lapse, and aim it at the North Star, and it will never move. It just never moves. Yeah, once you start stepping out of the box of the heliocentric model and you start thinking about all of these motions and all of this craziness going on up here, and then you realize that all of the other stars are supposed to be doing similar motions and stuff in the solar system, but for some reason all of the stars stay in the exact same shape, like the Little Dipper. All of the constellations stay in the exact same shape. They just, again, go around us in a circular motion in the exact same positions. Question, Vatican, why did you guys rename your telescope that was previously named Lucifer to Lucy? Was it too long, or why did Werner von Braun write a freaking book about a guy named Elon that colonized Mars? I don't know. This is the world's a stage. Seriously, man. Seriously, 900 miles away. 900 miles away. We're seeing the tip of this mountain. Shouldn't it be like a curved surface with aim in the other? Shouldn't it be under like miles of curvature? 900 miles, 8 inches per mile square. I don't know, you do the math. The horizon rising to eye level, no matter how high up we go, should just be a red flag for the Globers. Should be, whoa, what is going on here? Are we on a flat stationary plane right now? Nobody seems to be asking that. Why does the Vatican own a telescope named Lucifer? I always wondered why NASA said T- before their launches. When you minus the T, you can't spell Satan anymore. Notice the forked serpent tongue? You realize as a collective that NASA was created to discover what's going on in the ocean. For some reason, they must have found something down there and they made up space. The only thing that's made it to space? Your imagination. This ball? This marble that this testicular Masonic ball that you love doesn't exist. Yeah, I used to think NASA's pictures were pretty cool too. Pretty unbelievable. It's because they are complete fake CGI. So, if gravity is not a fact and is a theory, and gravity, universal theory of gravity is often taught in schools as a fact, when in fact it is not even a good theory. Yeah, we're talking about the magical force that keeps all of these planets elliptically orbiting the sun, and while simultaneously ignoring all of their moons and not pulling them off their orbits, even when they go in between the sun and the earth, which gravity should be pulling a couple ways. You know, the magical force that is not strong enough to pull the morning dew off a blade of grass, but apparently holds all of the trillions of pounds of ocean water stuck to a ball that's spinning 1,000 miles per hour and chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour while elliptically orbiting the sun at 66,600 miles per hour. Buoyancy and density, guys. It's pretty simple. Okay guys, let me get this straight. Everybody just collectively believes that the moon is a ball, right? A dusty rock reflecting light, which is scientifically not repeatable. Also, it's spinning. Yeah. Apparently, while it's doing in its elliptical orbit around the Earth, it's spinning like us, like how we're spinning 1,000 miles per hour at the equator. The moon is spinning too. It's apparently spinning at the perfect rate to keep the same face facing the Earth. I think the chances are of that starting from the Big Bang and just spinning at the exact same rate that we never see the other side. And no, seriously, guys. It's 2022. We know the Earth's flat and stationary. We know we're not spinning around the sun at 67,000 miles per hour. We're not going through space at Mach 88. We're flat and stationary.
This is my perfect victory! That's right! I win! They make your face drop. They give you lock jaw. I got that top notch. I got that.
They built it for a flat, stationary Earth, and my goal is for some young fighter pilot to listen to what I just said, go out tomorrow and set the bottom of your L strobe on your altitude, run it out there to 80 miles, and that bottom altitude on your cursor will stay the same.
That's not, and that, yeah, no, the ground looks to us like it's standing still.
What did you see while we were up there?
This is the blue sky, white clouds.
Yeah, is it flat or?
Pretty flat.
Pretty flat?
Yeah.
Okay.
I was reading a lot of stuff on the flat Earth.
Okay, yeah. True.
It's true?
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, cool.
Did you notice any curvature while we were up there?
Curvature, no.
No, there's no curvature?
It's just all flat.
We ran them flat, aren't we? We are, aren't we? Thank you.
Most pilots know their plane is flying over a plane.
No curvature?
It's just all flat.
What's up, pilots? Is the Earth flat or round?
Flat.
Thanks. I'm with you.
Are you a pilot?
Yes, sir.
One question.
Okay.
When you descend in the air,
Yeah.
do you dip or do you go straight?
It's straight.
Straight?
A little more with the nose out. That's it.
But straight.
Straight.
You don't dip
Yeah.
into the...
Yeah.
Okay, thank you so much. I appreciate
You're
you.
welcome, sir.
Guys, I'm going to ask you a question.
You wanted the video of all the pilots. Here you go.
And I'll come to the conclusion.
Yep.
There is no curvature. I never allow for curvature. There's no way there's curvature. We're round and flat, aren't we?
Definitely.
We are, aren't we?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, we are.
I've got a couple of serious questions to ask you.
Okay, here we go.
Yeah, there's a bit of time. Curvature.
Curvature.
Yeah.
Yep.
We don't allow for curvature, do we?
For anything, not for you usually.
No, we're...
No spin,
we're round.
no curvature.
Just, aren't we?
That's what he means.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Hey, look, honestly, quite seriously,
Yeah.
we are, aren't we?
Yeah.
Just got one question to ask. Flat or a ball?
Well, I never feel as breaking round. If we live on a ball, surely we'd have to fly around it. Yeah, it feels like flat or a ball.
You guys need much more? I don't know how much more I'm probably gonna have to show a lot, huh? But this one should do it for a lot of people. I hope this should wake up at least like 6 people, right? This one video should. But yeah, super flat. This is what it looks like. Antarctica is not a continent, it's an ice wall that surrounds us. This is what I mean by all the pilots, you know, they're like, oh, why wouldn't all the pilots tell us? They do. They do, and usually those people probably lost their jobs. Because those videos surfaced, they probably got fired. They usually get grounded and fired, so yeah. This is who is hiding this lie. It's these guys, the Freemasons. Wonderful people. And yeah, that's the bottom right picture. This is from, the bottom right one, this is from a plane. And everyone says they can see the curve, but you're just delusional. You're not seeing the curve, you're just delusional. And before you say, show me a picture of the edge, here it is, buddy. Again, Antarctica is not a continent. It's an ice wall that surrounds us. Research the highest ground on Earth. It'll be Antarctica. Have a good one. How are there flat earthers when we have pictures like this? And this? And this? Now, if you were to ask me that, I'd rebuttal with a picture like this. Or maybe even one that looks like this. I love how sure you people are that you're on a ball. You obviously haven't looked into any of this. The inconsistencies that we're getting from NASA and other sources of space exploration aren't proving to be very consistent at all. You guys are aware that they admit it. It's photoshopped because it has to be. It has to be because there's no way to get a real picture of this ball because it's not real. Now, let me just give you an idea of what I think's going on when they're showing you live streams or pictures from space. But you people seem to think that this is real. You're so sure that we landed on the moon. You're so sure that there's satellites orbiting the Earth at 17,500 miles an hour. To believe this lie, you've got to believe that everything in low Earth orbit is going 17,000 miles an hour. Cartoons for kids. And cartoons for adults. Now, as much as I wish I could just make you a flat earther with the poof of one video, you're gonna have to do your own research, but once you start looking into this, you might start realizing I'm not as crazy as I sound. One really weird thing you could look into is how Disney and NASA are intertwined. You are aware that we brought a bunch of Nazi scientists like Werner von Braun over to the United States after World War II to start NASA. This isn't the first time that they've lied, and I'm sure it won't be the last. To believe you're on this ellipsoid, gotta believe there's curvature but you can't see it, spin but you can't feel it, space but I can't afford to go to it, and gravity. But I can't measure it. I don't know about you, but I'm not falling for it. If you haven't heard, yeah, somebody blew up the Georgia Guidestones last night. Now, to be honest, I'm split both ways. I don't know if this is a good or bad thing. Yes, the rocks did have to keep the populations under 500 million written on them, but they also had a hole that stayed on Polaris all the time, and I used to use it to prove the Earth was flat. Like, I doubt it's still aligned. If somebody could check, though, let me know. But if there's a 24-hour feed of the Georgia Guidestones and we got it being blown up, where's the video of the people that planted the explosives? Take that as you will. But this just goes to show that they're putting the truth in your face. The UN's flag is a flat earth map. Here's a tweet by Elon Musk literally hinting that we didn't go to the moon, because it makes no sense. The timeline makes no sense, guys. We haven't gone back. It's 2022. When we do things, it gets easier, so we should be going back more frequently, but nobody seems to be able to go to the moon. We're skipping the moon and we're going to Mars now. And you guys already know how I feel about Mars. I'm sure you're aware of their Illuminati card game. Yeah, it's in there too. People laugh, but the flat earthers know something. I'd say I could be wrong, but I'm not. I just know it's flat. I know it's flat, level with hills and valleys, and yeah, it looks something like this. And not like any of this. Yeah, look how different all these look. Different sizes of continents, different colored continents. This is all computer generated images. I'm sorry to let you down. Sorry. But if you want to go deep dive into this research and be able to teach your family, I'd download this app, Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac app. And please, seriously, use my code 64178. I got this picture from the app. You can get all sorts of good stuff from here. How does this make any sense, people? This is from a cosmic explosion, the Big Bang. And all this perfectly aligns. The sun creates a 24-hour day and night. These stars realign every 365 days. And we're apparently doing this, going 500,000 miles per hour through space. Yeah, right. But when you're ready, let us know. The Flat Earthers, we've got open arms all the time. When you want to walk through the Matrix door to the Flat Earth side, I'll introduce you to everyone. Just let me know in the comments and make sure you don't leave here without giving me a follow.
This world is not what you think it is. This world is not what you think it is.